called My Wee Class.
Your wee what?
My Wee Class.
My wee class.
A big adventure. A red bus ran to the terminus at the shops. That's when the shops were at the end of King's Road, leading to Melfort Drive, just past Abbey Road. The shops that were there were Paul's newsagents, a bakery, and a fruit shop. After the shops, there was just a narrow country road. I remember the Tullycarnet school being built, and also the houses opposite on Melfort Drive. Tullycarnet Presbyterian Church was just a wooden hut built alongside Kinross Avenue with a ranch fencing round it. We lived in the 3-storey flats. We lived in 260D with a rent of, I think it was £2, so many shillings. There was no car parking areas, it was just grass. And the mothers took their children down to play, and we had our little picnics. When the school was built, we walked up to the willow field on sports day. The willow field is where the ice bowl is now. The children carried up the wooden benches and beams, and this was along the old King's Road, which was a country road. Next to the willow field was Basil McCracken's egg farm, and there are bungalows there now. There wasn't even an ice bowl back then. We moved into our house in Kinross Avenue, and I remember we had to bring the children in because the cows were out right in our court, right in the gardens, and my son even remembers the cow prints being in the garden, and the cows ate our flowers. To the side of our houses was the broken bridge, part of the old railway to Cumber. The kids used to go and sit on the remaining stones of the bridge. Hugh, my husband, used to take the boys for a walk after dinner. This was a lot of children gathered with him. They had a ball. They thought they were on a big adventure. There was another broken bridge at Kinross Avenue. This looked over to Stormont, but that was before the trees were planted, obscuring the view that we had across to Stormont and up to the Black Mountain, where we used to look to see the approaching weather. The field outside our back gate was where the tents went up for the children to sleep out in the summer holidays. Mary Green's Alsatian dogs, Duke and Toby, guarded the tents. The children had their tape recorders with them, and they acted out television adverts. On the 11th of July, we had a party. We had wheelbarrow races, tables set out with sandwiches, sausages, ice cream and lollies. We went around the doors to see if people had any wood for the boney, as it was called. The kids went along the railway path and cut down tree branches. Everyone kept the wood and furniture they had collected on top of their sheds or in the sheds until it was stacked. I think the dads enjoyed this as much as the kids. George Welsh held a disco in later years, and then the Queen was played to finish off at 12 o'clock. Then about 30 minutes later, the Queen was played again. Then about another 30 minutes later, the Queen. On the 12th morning, Hugh, my husband, Lillian Welsh and I got black bin bags to collect all the bottles, tins and rubbish from the field and path. Our Hugh, my son, he remembers no cars on the road and walking up round Ballyhanwood and down by Gilnahirk or round by the lake up Morrows. That was the farm. He was out most of the day walking and enjoying himself.
My name is David McCullough. I've lived in Tullycarnet 52 years. I'm 90 years old. I met a girl here in Tullycarnet. She was called Jean Faulkner. She was born in D Street and was reared in Austin Street on the Newtonards Road. I was born in Fraser Street and I was reared in Cuba Street in the Newtonards Road. My favourite memory of Tullycarnet is meeting Jeannie. We went to the same primary school, Feastfield Primary School, and the same secondary school, Temporary Avenue Secondary School. And 25 years later, our paths crossed again in Tullycarnet. We met us. She was a wee friend of my mother's, and gradually we fell in love, and we loved each other for 50 years. She died 3 years ago. She died of COVID. That all happened in Tullycarnet. That was my happy days. 50 years we were together. All my next memories are in Tullycarnet, the happiest days of my life. We did a lot together. We bought a caravan in Malane, and we were there 35 years. We were actually in the caravan when she took bad. She went into hospital on the 24th of July. Before I took her away, I put my arms around her and gave her a kiss. And then she was away to hospital. Little did I know that would be the last precious moments we would have together. As my Jean passed away on the 29th of July 2021, 5 days later. I had a big family room in Tullycarnet. My grandfather, my Uncle Freda, and Aunt Madge and my mother all lived at one time in 2A Kinross Avenue. My Aunt Aileen and my Uncle John Quinn lived in 4C, and my Aunt Jean and Uncle Carson lived in 4D, and I lived in 6D. I had numerous cousins lived all around the district. I like the friendly neighbourhood and neighbours and neighbourhood. I am heavily involved in going to meetings for pensioners, and I have been doing for over 20 years. My only worry is about the flats being pulled down. No, I was just going to say a wee thing about the wisecrackers. It was formed in 2005, and secretary, a group of men, there was word of mouth went out if you wanted to start a men's club to meet in the community centre. And they met here at the meeting. Joe Mercer was elected treasurer, and Fred Wilson was secretary. And we just had £1 a week dues. That's all the money we had. And after a year, Fred Wilson was dropped out through circumstances, and Joe took over the treasurer and the secretary's job, and I was made his assistant. And then I went to a delegates meeting over in the school, Tullycarnet Forum, to try and get some money for outings from Teresa McFay, from the Castlereagh Borough Council, and AIDS Concerned, she was. And Joe Mercer actually run the whole thing, treasurer and secretary, organised everything. And me and him went to delegate meetings all over the place trying to get money. But whatever money we got, we used it for go to like libraries and war memorials and stuff like that. So it was in the wee sheet here. But it doesn't mention Joe on it, you know. And Joe was the main man. I can name you a whole lot of names if I can remember them. There was Joe Mercer, Fred Wilson, Morris Speedy, Davy Crullers, Davy Watton, Sammy Spence, Billy Greer, myself, Dave McHugh, Bobby Johnson, John McCausland. That was the first ones that know, but most of them have passed on, you know.
Right. My name is Jane Neal. I've lived in Tullycarnet for 53 years. I came here in 1969 when the Troubles just started. I had 6 boys and I didn't want them to get involved in anything. I loved coming to Tullycarnet. After living in a small house on the Newtonards Road, to have a brand new home with a large family, it was great. When we moved in, it was so open and the children were delighted to see cows coming up the avenue. Gradually, we were able to get to know people and found it easy to sell. My boys were delighted to be able to play in open fields when there were no buildings and plenty of space. My daughter coached gymnastics in the school in Tullycarnet, and back then, a good neighbour was everything. Someone who was ready to get bits of shopping if you could not get out yourself. When I asked one of my sons how he remembered his childhood in Tullycarnet, he said he had a great boyhood and still had friends from school days. The school opened in 1969, a lovely new school with open playing fields all around. When they went to play, a rope was tied to a tree, which resulted in at least one broken arm. I didn't wear 7 inches, but they all turned out well. I had 1 in the police and 3 in the UDR.